Being aware of the fact that the insufficient rain which northeast monsoon brings to this island, the kings who ruled the country in the past made reservoirs to store water to be used in the dry season, especially for agriculture. This technology goes back to the 4th century BC. One such reservoir is Minneriya Tank, which was built in the 3rd century AD by the king Mahasen, which distributes water even today to the acres and acres of rice fields. And this is obviously a blessing for all the farmers in the area. Apart from agriculture, this giant tank provides another livelihood to the communities living close to the tank, that is inland fishing industry. Most of the people in the world start their day's work in the morning. But this hard-working community start their day's work in the afternoon. They should be ready after lunch with heaps of fishing nets packed on their canoes. Though there are 2 in this canoe, some go solo. During the dry season, rowing the boat is not an easy task with the waves and the wind. Having great hopes of a great harvest, they take their canoe to a place where they think there will be a lot of fish. Finding a specific area is decided by both before casting their nets. Once both agree on the location, they start casting their fishing nets. Whilst one is casting the nets, the other one controls the canoe, giving him necessary assistance. The solo fisherman is reaching the fisheries harbour after casting his fishing nets. After reaching the harbour, it is customary to clean their canoes and keep their oars in order. and refreshing themselves in fresh water is common to all fishermen once they get off the canoes. Once all the fishermen are back on the shore, finishing their day's work of casting nets, all the canoes will be locked until the next day morning. The next day early morning, all the fishermen start going towards the harbour. This journey to the harbour is always on a rough road. There are about 3 kilometers from the main road to the harbour through a thick jungle which belongs to the Department of Wildlife, for which there should be a special permission to enter. Though it is early in the morning, they are so vigilant. They have come across a motorbike parked by the side of the road, which is unusual. If there is anything that's beyond their control, the responsibility is always with the wildlife department officials, since this land doesn't belong to them. In a situation like this, they immediately inform a responsible person in the Department of Wildlife. Everyone here is giving it a try to identify whose motorbike that is. Finally, they come to a conclusion that two will be waiting till an officials reach the site and the others proceed to work. This part of the road is extremely adventurous. Any moment, they can encounter wild elephants roaming in the jungle. These fishermen have got numerous stories of such experiences. To avoid such situations, they always travel together. Finally, they reached their harbour a bit later than usual. Parking their motorbikes and push bikes in the specially made hut, they get ready for the task of going to water on their canoes. This hut is a temporary hut made by them just by the side of the harbour, in which they have a nap during the day if they are tired. This provides shelter for everyone. A nap in an open air with the breeze comes from the reservoir is a luxury that one finds here during the daytime. While others are getting ready with their equipment, the one who is responsible for the security will unlock the canoes which were locked the previous evening. And after the canoes are checked properly, one by one will launch their canoes to water. No matter how far their fishing net is, they will reach the destination. They will reach the destination using their torches, even in the absence of daylight. The sun, giving life to everything on earth, is slowly showing its daylight. Brahmini kites and white-bellied sea eagles start their first flight of the day in search of their breakfast. Before the first canoe reaches the shore, the fishmongers are getting ready for their bid. Most of them use motorbikes with a box fitted at the back. Once they reach, the talk amongst them go long till the first canoe reaches the ice. This could be about the activities of the previous day or some interesting news telecast on the television. However, this time is a passage for them to share some stories of amusements as well. But that is always a very brief period of time. After spending about 3 hours in water, collecting their harvest, packing their nets again in the canoe, reaching the shore. This is a nice display of teamwork between the fishmongers and the fishermen. Each fisherman is assisted by the fishmongers. Once the canoe is safely taken to the ground, the fishmongers pack the harvest into a sack before they are weighed. This usually goes for about 1 hour or more. This mutual understanding is a concrete fact among them. This happens every day. One could explain that this is a great brotherhood. Some days, the harvest is really high. That is determined by various factors according to them. That could be the level of water in the tank, the wind, sometimes the lunar effect. However, every fisherman's wish is to have a great harvest from which they can earn more, since they have families to feed. Some days like today, harvest is a bit low. Still, they are always happy with whatever they get. Sometimes they receive bonuses as well. The fishermen who cast their fishing nets in the far corners of the tank in the previous afternoon reached the fisheries harbour a bit later than others. Fishmongers are still waiting on the shore, since they know how many canoes are being operated on the specific day. Weighing the harvest is done at a convenient place with a digital scale, and the fishmongers have to pay the amount due to the fishermen on the same day. Once all the fishermen finished selling their fish to the fishmongers, a share from their daily earnings go to their welfare society. This fund is spent on its members' welfare and purchasing of fingerlings to the tank whenever it is needed. Once they complete the work they started on the previous day, every fisherman is moving towards their homes to see the loved ones and to share their experience of another successful day. However, they all should think about the next day in the afternoon.